What's the pettiest rule your landlord ever tried to enforce? My apartment complex turned into an absolute war zone when our property manager Bill decided dogs could only be walked between 6 and 8 in the morning and 6 and 8 at night, so the grass would be perfect during the day when fancy people might visit. Bill posted a notice on every single door explaining the new rule, and I immediately knew this was going to turn into complete chaos because my dog's bladder doesn't work on a schedule like some kind of pee robot. My neighbor Mary said, "Bill's about to find out what happens when you mess with pet parents," and that's when our whole building decided to fight back in the most ridiculous ways possible. The rebellion officially started when my neighbor Mary pushed her pug outside in a baby stroller at exactly noon, while Bill was showing an apartment to some fancy couple. When he ran over with his face all purple, she said, "This is transportation, not dog walking. His little paws aren't even touching the ground." Bill made some sort of noise like an angry goose, but technically, she was right. The next morning, Bill posted a new notice on our doors saying that no dogs could be outside during the restricted hours. So my upstairs neighbor Kyle brought his bearded dragon out on a tiny pink leash at 1 in the afternoon and let it slowly crawl across the lawn for 45 minutes while Bill watched from his office window, practically vibrating with rage. "That's not even a dog," Bill screamed from his window. Kyle just shrugged and screamed back, "Exactly. Your dog rules don't apply to my beautiful lizard son, Jeremy." A few more people immediately came outside with their pet snakes, ferrets, and hamsters. Someone even had a tarantula in a clear ball rolling across the sidewalk. Bill updated the rules again to say, all pets must stay inside during restricted hours. Mary pulled out paperwork showing that her pug was registered as an emotional support animal and said, "The law says you can't restrict service animals or emotional support animals, so unless you want to be sued, my emotional support dog can go outside whenever he wants to." Meanwhile, her dog peed directly on Bill's welcome mat. Things got completely unhinged when someone from the first floor started using a fishing pole to dangle their chihuahua out the window over the grass at 2 in the afternoon. When Bill approached them about it, they said, "He never left the building because he's still connected to my apartment by this fishing line." Bill had to call his lawyer to figure out if that counted as being outside or not, and his lawyer laughed so hard he hung up. Then Kyle bought one of those robot dogs from the toy store and walked it around the complex, making beeping noises with his mouth. When Bill complained, Kyle insisted, "This is a toy, not a pet. Pets are living animals, and Cyberspot eats batteries." Kyle then made the robot dog do a backflip. The absolute peak happened when 5 people teamed up, and at exactly noon, they all opened their apartment doors, and their dogs stuck just their butts out the door to pee on the walkway. When Bill came running, they all said only their butts are outside. You never said anything about partial dogs. I swear Bill made a sound like a broken vacuum cleaner. Then someone else showed up with a golden retriever wearing a horse mask and a tiny saddle, but they'd registered it as a therapy horse online and kept insisting that it was a miniature emotional support horse, so it would not be considered a pet. Bill was frantically Googling, "Is a dog in a horse costume legally a horse?" on his phone. The whole thing reached maximum chaos when Kyle put on a dog costume and started rolling around and crawling across the lawn on all fours while barking and howling like he had lost his mind completely. When Bill came outside to try to stop him, Kyle looked him dead in the eye and said, "If you think I'm going to let my dog's bladder explode like a water balloon full of piss just so you can impress some rich people who might tour the property, you're going to learn what actual property damage looks like." And then he lifted his leg next to Bill's car. That same day, Mary's cousin visited with her 3 emotional support peacocks that technically weren't pets according to bird law, and they just let them wander around the whole apartment complex screaming like dinosaurs having an argument. Bill hid under the desk in his office, calling every lawyer he could find, but none of them were willing to take his case. Bill finally called an emergency tenant meeting that night. He walked in looking like he hadn't slept in a month and said, "Fine, you can walk your dogs whenever you want. Just please stop whatever this is." The next day, at exactly noon, every single dog owner in the complex took their pets out for what we called the victory walk, and Bill just watched from his window, looking dead inside, while 30 dogs all peed on his perfect grass at the same time. Mary's pug even left a special present right in front of the leasing office sign.